This is my rendition of soft matter and how it correlates to food. This was done originally by Dr. Fernandez. What is matter? Matter is what makes up the universe. There are multiple phases of matter, which include solids, liquids, gas, and plasma. As you can see from the picture, solids are very condensed and it's almost full order. Liquids have a little bit more disorder than solids, but are still fairly condensed. Gases have very little order, and the molecules are more spread out, whereas plasma is complete disorder. Now, once we are talking about foods, you can see mixing of phases. You have substances such as mayonnaise. Is it a liquid or a solid? It is composed of liquid but doesn't flow, so how do we tell? One way is elasticity. The elasticity in solids can be looked at as springs. There are microscopic jiggles between atoms, and the higher the temperature, the more movement of these molecules. As you can see from the video, even in solids, the molecules are rubbing against each other constantly. Now, what about soft material that isn't solids? The bonds are farther apart than solids, and the bond energy is around 1 kilopascal. An example is milk. Milk is colloidal, and the casein and fat keep the molecules attracted to each other, which is why it's not fully a liquid when heated up. A big way that you can tell the difference between liquids and solids, especially in the mixing of phases, is by viscosity. Viscosity is the ability of matter to flow. This helps obviously determine if a substance is solid or liquid. But one thing about viscosity is depending on how short of time step you are looking at, everything can be a solid as long as it is looked at over a short period of time. And as you can see through this picture, each substance that's being poured, the viscosity is changing. But even on the substance on the far right, whereas it looks like a pure solid compared to the substance on the far left, if you make the time interval small enough, the substance on the far left would also appear to be a solid. Now for the main point of the presentation, food transformations. Now, some foods can transform from one phase to another while it is being cooked. Usually you see foods go from phases such as solids to liquids once you are cooking said food, because heating up the molecules causes more kinetic energy and therefore the molecules spread farther apart. But how come when you cook something like eggs, it goes from a liquid to a solid when you're cooking? And this is caused by the proteins in the eggs being folded to becoming unfolded. This unfolding causes thickening and unbreakable bonds, which causes it to become a solid. So these proteins, which are similar to those in milk, will actually unfold, which is what causes the thickening. And that's how come certain foods can actually transform from a liquid to a solid, even though you are cooking and adding more kinetic energy to the food. Let's take a look here as the eggs are being cooked. As you all know, eggs do start out in a very liquidy form when you are first cracking the egg. However, once the egg is applied to heat, you'll see that it begins to solidify. And as said before, this is from the proteins unfolding, causing a thickening to occur. And this is one of the strange things about foods that somewhat can contradict what you may think would happen when you are adding energy to a system. That is my presentation of soft matter. I hope you all did enjoy, and again, thank you for watching this presentation.